ask the question, what is the goal this offseason? If your goal is to replenish this roster and be competitive and maybe get to a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, then you're going to do things one way. If your goal is like mine, where you want to replenish the roster, but at the same time, you want to compete for a Super Bowl next year, it's a whole other process. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So the combine just ended, and my boy Bijan Robinson went off. He went off, and JAHMYR Gibbs as well. I love both those running backs. But the question today, what we have to ask ourselves, what we have to reconcile with is, what is our goals for this all season? What is it? Is your goal to just replenish the roster so in a few years you're ready to compete for a Super Bowl again? Or is it to do that plus go out and win a Super Bowl next year? Because you got to remember, the Eagles were one drive away from winning it all. And I want to go back and I want to finish the job. Pause. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into it, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about today, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, just double check. Double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Now, I'm going to jump into this. There's a lot of different things, a lot of storylines going on. We're going to get into it. This could be 2 videos, but we're going to try to put this all into one video because I'm still playing catch up from coming back from Florida, and I've been busy as hell. And before it starts hailing, it was hailing earlier. I had to wait to do this video because I thought the hail was going to actually break my window. So it calmed down now. And I got to do that before my cats start wanting to mate again. So, all right, first thing. Early today, we heard Jordan Schultz. Shout out to Jordan Schultz. He sent me something saying that teams are enamored with Marsha Epps. Teams are going to go out. They're going to make him an offer. All I can say is, goodbye. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Because I don't think it's that big of a loss. So I don't know why teams are enamored with him, but it is what it is. Then we get reports that Denard Wilson is not going to be back with the Philadelphia Eagles. Elliot Shore-Parks wrote, "Not getting Denard Wilson back is a loss for the Pound Eagles. Was an excellent coach to help make secondary #1 in the NFL, and it was extremely popular with the players." And what he's talking about is the fact that Denard Wilson is gone. He parted ways with the Eagles. Ian Rappaport said this: "After being a finalist for the Pound Eagles defensive coordinator job that went to Sean Desai, Philly defensive pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach Denard Wilson and the team are mutually parting ways. Sources say this is often the outcome when an in-house candidate is passed over for promotion." Now, a lot of the players really liked Denard Wilson, okay? And I wasn't sure he was going to get the job or not. But now he is gone. Guys like Darius Slay, who liked him, who wanted him to be the defensive coordinator. Now, guess what? He's gone. And to make matters worse, and this rumor to me, I don't get. But to make matters worse for especially Darius Slay, get this. Karen, I don't know how to say your last name, so I'm not going to try. But she writes, "I'm hearing that Matt Patricia has a shot to land with the Philadelphia Eagles on the defensive staff, presumably as a linebackers coach." Now, to get a former head coach as a positional coach, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. However, Darius Slay is not really fond of Matt Patricia. So to me, why would you even consider bringing him in when you know Darius Slay can't be happy about that, especially after just losing his defensive backs coach, who he thought should get the job as defensive coordinator? What what is going on here? Why do they want Matt Patricia at linebacker coach? I don't know if I like this one. I don't know if I feel too good about that. He didn't like him. He felt disrespected. Do we really want to bring him in and then have Darius Slay upset about him? Or the Eagles don't care what Darius Slay is? Could they be looking to move him if he doesn't reconstruct his contract with them? If he doesn't renegotiate his contract? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So, a lot of these things, a lot of moving parts right now. However, the most concerning thing to me, and the thing that I really want to talk about, is that it's sounding more and more like we're going to lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's sounding more and more like it. Here's an article. I think it was Zach Berman did this. And it says, Eagles could be on the verge of losing CJ Gardner-Johnson to a massive free agent deal. Okay? Now, get this. And we got to listen and we got to think about this. We got to think about this logically. According to Zach Berman of The Athletic, Philadelphia could be on the verge of losing Gardner-Johnson to a huge deal on the open market. The Eagles will have a list of headliners signings elsewhere in 2 weeks. General Manager Howie Roseman has actually been transparent about this reality in his public statements. It doesn't mean they won't try to keep some of their top free agents. You'll find those who speculate Philadelphia will be aggressive in trying to keep Hargrave and Gardner-Johnson. But the way the Eagles are banking on 2024 compensatory picks shows they're resigned to the reality they won't sign top free agents. All right. Now, you have guys like Hargrave, Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury, Isaac Sayamalo, all signed deals that put them at or near the top of their positions and will give the Eagles favorable formula in compensatory picks. Those compensatory picks, however, will not be available till April 2024, and you'll likely see an Eagles team that is explosive on offense. And get this, I want you to listen carefully here, because this is where I'm going with this, and forced to win a majority of their games next season by outscoring opponents. Now, that's very important. That last part is very important, okay? You'll likely see an Eagles team that's explosive on offense and forced to win a majority of their games next season by outscoring opponents. I hate to lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I do not want to lose him. CJ Gardner-Johnson. I always call him Chauncey because I like that name. But my cat's you hear my cat trying to mate? Oh my God. It's crazy. They need to invent like chastity belts for cats. Okay? Because he's going crazy. Hey, I'm filming over here. You know? Hold on, let me get this cat. Okay, sorry about that. I got a door. And I got one male cat on one side. He's making all these mating sounds. And then I got the female cat. She hears it. She starts doing little circle things. And she's got her face down, ass up, tail up against the door. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Chastity belt for cats. That's what I need. I don't need any more kittens. All right? So I'm trying to keep them separated. And it's crazy. Now, as I was saying, CJ Gardner-Johnson could very well be gone. He could very well be gone. And I'm going to tell you this. I think it's a mistake if the Eagles let him go. If he gets to free agency, sign somewhere else, after 1 year at safety with the Eagles, putting up the numbers and stuff he did at his age, I think it's something that the Eagles are going to regret. I do. You gotta find a way to keep him. You gotta find a way to keep him. But there looks like a very real possibility that may not happen. That may not happen. So you're talking about losing all these guys. Now, this brings me to my point. What is the goal for next year? What is the goal this offseason, rather? Is the goal this offseason to start replenishing this year in the draft, next year in the draft when you have all those compensatory picks, your defense, and more players, and rebuild with the draft? So in a few years, not next year, but maybe 2-3 years down the road, you're ready to go to a Super Bowl again? Or is it to do that while maintaining your dominance in the NFC, getting back to the Super Bowl and finishing this thing. Because I believe that a few right moves, this team can get back in. But it's going to take out-of-the-box thinking. It's going to take some risks that you normally don't do. It's going to take doing things the other NFL teams don't like to do and people tell you you shouldn't do. That's how you get back there. We need Howie vision. We're all just living in the mother humper. We need it big time. And nobody's going to tell me any different. Okay? The last part of what I read, where it says, the Eagles' offense will be potent. Their defense won't be as good. They're going to have to score more points to win. Okay? They're going to have to score 30 points a game. They're going to have to score more points this year. They're going to have to be more explosive on offense to win, to make up for the losses on defense. I don't care if you draft Jalen Carter and Christian Gonzalez in the same draft. That is not going to replace the production you got from Hargrave and James Bradbury. Then if you lose CJ Gardner-Johnson, if you lose Brandon Graham, are the Eagles going to let all these guys go because they're going to get compensatory picks? We have to wonder. We have to wonder. So, if that's the Eagles' plan, do they have a plan to go back to the Super Bowl? Do they have a plan? Do they even care to go back to the Super Bowl this year? Or are they willing to go through the growing pains? There's two ways to look at it. You could totally say, you know what? We're gonna go through the growing pains this year, and we're gonna be competitive, maybe get to the playoffs. If we get rolling at the end of the year, great. But there's not much else we could do. Then you handle things one way in the draft. But if you think you can go back, like I think the Eagles can do, I mean, the NFC is wide open. If you think you can go back, I think you can do both. I do. And this is why, when I think about who I'm going to draft and what I'm going to do, everybody's assuming defense. It's going to be defense. You need a corner. You need another defensive tackle. You're going to need defensive ends. All of this is true. You're right. You do. However, if it's me and I'm going to go out and try to win next year as well as rebuild, and I know I have all those compensatory picks coming in 2024, and I have an extra second-round pick in 2024, I'm going to have a load of draft picks to reload. If I know that, then guess what? I don't think a team like the Eagles that were one drive away, they don't call hold on James Bradbury, and that's a 3-point game, and the Eagles get the ball a minute 36, I'm telling you, the Eagles win the Super Bowl. They were going down and they were winning. To get back there, it's going to take shrewd thinking. It's going to take out-of-the-box thinking. I don't know all the answers. I don't have it. We're going to find out, and we'll know a lot more as we see free agency unfold. The thing I'm looking for next, really, from the Eagles is I think you have to restructure Darius Slay and Lane Johnson's contract. If we see that happening and see movement, then I feel pretty good with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson coming back. I think the Eagles would like to bring Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. However, he knows he's going to hit money and be one of the top safeties. Javon Hargrave, he knows he's going to hit free agency and be one of the top defensive tackles. You know, James Bradbury is going to hit the open market and be one of the top corners. They're all getting paid top at their positions. So, in order for the Eagles to accomplish both goals of restocking your roster over the next few years through the draft and having the ability to compete next year, to me, there's one clear thing to do. Draft Bijan Robinson. Okay? Or you want to say JAHMYR Gibbs? Fine, I'm good with him too. Draft a running back, a guy like one of those two guys that could go off and be one of the best in the league and make your offense better. Those guys behind that offensive line make your team better. Yes, any running back could play behind his offensive line like Kenneth Gainwell and be productive. Yes, but it's special. It becomes special when you add a great talent behind. Now, you're saying you don't draft a running back in the first round. That's the thought. That's how the league sees running backs. You don't need them in the first round. You can give them second, third round. This gives us an opening to value. Because if that's the case, and you get a Bijan Robinson, and let's say he starts to fall to 15, 16, 17, 18, why not take that 30th pick? your second-round pick, your extra second-round pick next year. Move up and get him. You're going to have a plethora of picks with those compensatory picks. But you've got to try to go up and get them. You've got to make your offense better. That's the whole key to this all season. For the Eagles to be competitive next year, and I know I'm not coming off this hill, okay? I'm not coming off this hill. But for the Eagles to be competitive next year, and I don't mean competitive like in the playoff hunt. They'll be that anyways. But to be back in the Super Bowl, make your offense better. Make your offense better right away. Make your defense better in the next 2 or 3 years. So you can sit there at 10. You can take, Christian Gonzalez. Many of you guys want him at 10. So you find a way to go get Bijan Robinson or JAHMYR Gibbs, okay? Then all of a sudden, and I think Bijan Robinson's better than Gibbs. I'm just going to tell you. I think Robinson's a stud. I think he's a generational type talent. I think he's going to be a monster. Did you see this guy's frigging legs? All right, today he ran a 4.6 40 at 215 pounds. 5'11", 215 pounds, ran a 4.6. He's comparable to Edgerrin James, okay? He was almost as fast as Saquon Barkley running it, okay? He's a stud. He's preferably who I want. But I would also settle for Gibbs. Gibbs ran a 4.36. I think Gibbs can probably give you stuff a little more out of the backfield. Although anybody saying that Bijan Robinson can't catch, I don't know what you're looking at. He can catch out of the backfield. To me, if you added Bijan Robinson, it would be such a great move. And here's why. Because you're getting a generational type talent. Especially if you can trade up and get him with that second first-round pick. If you could go, I'd go up as high as 15. I'd try to jump up 15 spots if I have to. Whatever it takes. But get him. Because what you're going to do is 2 things. One, you're going to be able to replace that extra second-round pick you're losing with New Orleans. You're going to have a crap load of compensatory picks. High compensatory picks the following year. Secondly, you get a guy like that, you're instantly better on offense. You instantly become more dangerous on offense. John Robinson, behind that offensive line, is amazing. And here's the other thing. He comes in in a rookie contract for 5 years, right? 4-year contract, and then you got the 1-year option. So you essentially have a generational type running back signed for 5 years. That's cheap. That's a great deal for a running back. That's cheaper than what you're going to pay for a guy, probably even like Kareem Hunt. So why not go out and do that? Now, if you do that, and then let's say you go heavy the rest of the draft on defense, then guess what? Your defense will be good in 2-3 years. You take a little more risk this year. Maybe you can bring back a guy like Brandon Graham. And I think your offense will be scoring so many points. And then when you're up and you want to run the clock out, who better than Bijan Robinson? Guy's a 3-down back. I think it's not the typical way you go about it. It's not the way I normally would go about it. But being that I have a team that is on the verge of winning a Super Bowl, they just need to tweak some things. That's how you do it. If the Eagles are going to lose all those guys, it's either 2 choices. One, you do something a different way outside the box in order to get back to the Super Bowl while replenishing your roster. Or two, you be content with not being as good as last year, and you hope you get back to the playoffs. You hope a bunch of your rookies pan out, and then in 2-3 years, maybe you're back there. By that time, Jalen Hurts' extension will be kicking in big time. So then what? To me, I think I have to go running back in the first round with my second first-round pick. I have to find a way to get Bijan Robinson on this team, because I think it would be such a game changer offensively for this team. And even if you do lose pieces on defense and you have young rookies playing, you're still going to be able to survive because your offense is going to be so potent. Just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. It's going to be hard to take me off this hill. I believe firmly that the Eagles have to go about making their offense even better in order to make up for the losses that you're going to have on defense, while replenishing your youth and replenishing your defense with young guys. That's how you do it. That's how you build it. Howie Roseman knows it, and I expect him to do it. Denzel Washington out.